public speaking guru said, it's okay to be nervous. And I am nervous. Good evening, Mr. President, and the Toastmasters, ladies and gentlemen. Just a point of interest, how many of you here are parents? I've got a number of parents. How many of you here has a certain leadership or even supervisory role in your workplace or even the school? Yes, we have a number of you. Now, how many of you ever do any work at all for school? No, right? Now, there are several literatures that have been written about leadership and management. The common question remains, is there a difference between leaders and managers? Warren Bennis, leadership guru, says, managers are people who do things right. And leaders are people who do the right things. Jansen says, leaders are people who inspire. Managers are those people who perspire. Whatever views you may hold, the popular belief is that a leader must be one who is able to influence, one who is able to inspire. In my life experience, I would like to share a little bit about leadership using the acrostics TRUST, T-R-U-S-T. T is for trust, as in the word T-R-U-S-T. R is for respect, and U is for understanding. S is for support, and T is for trust again. It goes back one full circle. Trust. I used to do this when I was a scout founder. Trust. T is for trust. I recall when I was quite a young officer, I'm still young though, I had a not so good leader or boss. Not so good. So he was having an interview with me, and I shared with him how stressful I was with the other junior bosses. And he being a senior boss, I shared an interview with him. And I thought that was the end of it. The next day, one of the junior bosses came to me and said, I heard you complain about me. I was shocked, speechless. From that day onwards, I learned never to trust that leader again. Not only that, I told myself, I must never do that to my subordinates. Trust between boss and subordinate is confidential. It's vital. It's sacred. It's like a doctor-patient relationship, confidentiality. If you break that trust, you lose the respect. I remember recently, last year, when I had this interview with my officer, and he shared with me about the harsh words my immediate superior used. After the interview, I spoke to my immediate superior. He asked me what this officer said. I said, I'm sorry, sir, I cannot share with you the details of what he said. However, in my professional capacity, I must say that we should focus on the issue at hand. My immediate superior didn't have anything to say. So, respect. To me, when you have trust, you will earn the respect of the followers. Which brings me to the point of respect. R is for respect, and U is for understanding. As a young technician, before my commission, I was working on the aircraft. I cut the wire. That was a big mistake. Because my friends had spent the whole night last night trying to lay the wire harness, and I just went there. Imagine how they would feel though. I was afraid. Later, I plucked up my courage and I went to my supervisor and I told him I found out. I cut the wire. He then reported it to my officer. My officer, to my surprise, did not punish me. The mitigating factor was not so much that I have worked many long hours, more than 10 hours in our duty. Rather, it was because I own up. I took responsibility. And I learned that in life we have to be responsible. And if we make a mistake, we own up. But I learned another lesson from that experience. From my officer, the leader. I learned that he did not just jump to conclusion. He had the understanding. It took time to understand. It took time to assess the situation before he made a final decision. He understood. Recently, I had this incident with a warrant officer. He made a mistake, a serious mistake. I told him about it, and I said, well, everybody makes mistakes, I understand. But you must be careful not to do it again. And in my performance interview with him, I shared with him that, well, I'm not going to fault him for one incident alone. Because the performance is based not on an isolated incident, but on the entire year's work performance. And he was gratified. So when you understand people, you also have to understand the nature that people do make mistakes. And I'm sure that not everybody wants to make mistakes deliberately, and they will normally feel bad about it. Unless, of course, they have no conscience. Talking about mistakes, respect, understanding, it brings me to my point of people who make mistakes. And as leaders, we need even to stand by them when they make mistakes. And that brings me to my next point of support. As for support, you need to support your people even when they make mistakes. And I recall a time whereby there was, some years ago, presentation done. And there was a mistake. But none of the bosses wanted to stand up and take responsibility. And being a junior officer, I was disappointed. More recently, when one of my men did a presentation, he made a mistake. And my boss there and then gave him a talking to. I felt responsible, so I told the boss, excuse me, sir, I hold the responsibility because I should have vetted the presentation before I went. After the incident was over, I received an SMS. My officer said, thank you for standing up for me. And it meant that much to me. Stand by your people. Stand by your followers. If I could recap, T is for trust, R is for respect, U is for understanding, S is for support, and T, of course, is for trust again. But why is trust so important? Simply because without trust, there's no respect. And if you are a leader that understands your people and you support your people, but if they cannot trust you, you are insincere to them. And sometimes the extent of insincerity goes to the extent of betrayal. Our minister mentor, in his book, from first to third world, first one. No job, said of leadership. Leadership is more than just an ability. It is about courage. It is about determination. It is about commitment. It is about character. More than just ability. People will be willing to follow their leaders. Ladies and gentlemen, you all are leaders in your own organizations. You are leaders in this Toastmasters organization. You are leaders at home. But I beseech you, think of applying trust. T for trust. R for respect. U for understanding. S for support. And of course, the more overarching important thing of T is trust. So trust is about character, as our professor mentor said. As you go tonight, I beseech you, apply trust in your lives. Toastmasters for today.